On June 14, 1911, 110 years ago, the Zanetti Train was ready to depart from Rome. The Zanetti Train was known for its luxury, with tickets priced so high that only millionaires could afford them. Because it was the first luxury train of its kind, the Zanetti Train Company offered free tickets and complimentary food and drinks for its maiden voyage. This attracted a large crowd, and the train set off from Rome with 100 passengers and 6 crew members aboard. Traveling through routes adorned with breathtaking natural beauty, passengers on the Zanetti train marveled at the scenery passing by their windows. However, anticipation peaked as the train approached the 1-kilometer-long tunnel nestled within the Lombardy Mountains. All aboard eagerly awaited the unique experience this tunnel promised to deliver. As the Zanetti train chugged along, people stood by the sides of the track, fascinated by its beauty, waving enthusiastically as it passed by. Because in those days, the sight of that train was a true marvel. That was the moment when everything was going smoothly without any trouble. Finally, the Lombardy Tunnel, which the travelers had eagerly awaited, came into view. The train entered the tunnel completely, disappearing into its depths. However, it didn't emerge from the other side. What happened to the train that went inside the tunnel? Why wouldn't it come out of the tunnel? What happened to the passengers inside? All of these questions remain a mystery even after 110 years. All the people who witnessed the train's departure were shocked to hear the news of its disappearance. They rushed into the tunnel, hoping to find answers, but the train was nowhere to be found. Within hours, word of the train's disappearance spread rapidly. Investigators and police descended upon the tunnel, scouring every inch for clues. There were suspicions that the train may have encountered large craters inside the tunnel, causing it to plunge underground. Because the train consisted of only 1 engine and 3 bogies, investigators suspected it may have fallen into a pit or crevice within the tunnel. Every corner was meticulously searched, yet not a single trace of the train was found, leaving investigators baffled by its mysterious disappearance. After several years of investigation yielded no evidence, the fate of the train and its passengers remained a mystery. Italian newspapers regularly featured headlines declaring that the train, along with its 106 passengers, had vanished into thin air. As the mystery of the Zanetti train deepened, news emerged that 2 individuals who had been passengers on the train were found in Mexico, serving as a reminder to never lose faith. Investigators immediately pursued the 2 individuals. When questioned, they claimed that they had jumped from the train before it entered the tunnel. As we approached the train tunnel, we heard a loud noise and saw smoke billowing out. Fearing for our safety, we became alarmed and decided to jump from the train. Since the train was moving at a slow speed, jumping off didn't pose any immediate danger. However, upon jumping, we lost consciousness and have no recollection of what happened to the train thereafter. And we have no memory of how we ended up in Mexico. Investigators found that they had traveled on that train, and there were no indications of any mental health issues. The responses provided by these 2 travelers posed challenges for the investigators once again. However, the fate of the remaining 104 passengers remains a mystery. Investigators took the drastic step of completely closing and sealing off the tunnel. Many speculate that the train may have been taken by a supernatural force or caught in a time travel loop. But no one could say exactly what happened to this train. However, there were certain events that seemed to confirm the theory that the train was caught in a time travel loop. This train has appeared in many places since. A few years later, a doctor in Mexico treated 104 patients. What is surprising about this is that these 104 patients wore very neat coats and suits and looked like rich people. All these patients spoke Italian, but they had no sense of self. They were in a state where they didn't even know who they were. These 104 patients and the doctor who treated them mysteriously disappeared before this news could spread to the whole world. Therefore, it could not be proven that these 104 patients traveled on that train. One notable detail is that these 104 patients were admitted together but disappeared without ever being seen together. After some time, everyone began to forget about the train as no new information surfaced. Even investigators gradually abandoned their investigation. Since then, the train has remained a mystery. Despite the conclusion of its investigations, the occasional appearance of this train continues to perplex. Many claim to have seen this train in Russia, Germany, Mexico, and Ukraine. One significant event supporting these claims came in 1955 when the train arrived and stopped at a railway station in Ukraine. That station was a very small one. As it was nighttime, the station master claimed to have seen with his own eyes a train, resembling the description of a train with only one engine and 3 bogies, arrive and stop there. The station master suggested that it must have been the Zanetti Train, as there were no other trains scheduled to arrive at that station at that time. The train disappeared from there before all this information could be relayed to the local authorities. When inquired about this, it was discovered that the station was built on top of graves, and more than 2,000 warriors died there during the war. But what connection does this have with the train's disappearance? Some investigators speculate that this train may have come from the underworld. Another intriguing detail is that, although this train was built in 1911, records from 1980, which is 70 years ago, indicate that a train resembling it was seen in Mexico. During those days, this train appeared at many places and then disappeared. People living in the 1840s were already talking about the strange appearances of this train. This event is still talked about in the history of Italy. Given that the train has appeared and disappeared in many places at different times, could it actually be stuck in a time travel loop? All these incidents involving the Zanetti train are recounted as an urban legend. However, the people of Italy still consider it to be a real event. There are no documents or evidence of investigations about this train. Furthermore, the Lombardy Tunnel was completely destroyed due to a bomb blast during World War II. If so, did the Zanetti train and the 104 passengers traveling on it truly get caught in a time travel loop and disappear? Or could a crater have formed inside the tunnel, causing the train to fall into it? People speculate a lot about the Zanetti train, but the truth is that no one has been able to prove its existence with concrete evidence. Do you believe in this Zanetti train and time traveling? Don't forget to comment on your answer.